What's up, Tim Sykes here, again with my new studio. Pretty excited about this. Leave a comment. I appreciate the earlier comments, but I'm always looking for more feedback. We're gonna work on the echo, but do you like this new setup where I can be like a weatherman? I don't think, it's really helpful for me just to like use a mouse clicker. I think it's really important, obviously a mouse clicker is like based on like a finger, but I think it's more useful for me to do this. I don't know, you tell me, leave a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. It doesn't have to necessarily be, positive. I just want to hear your feedback. That's what I'm always looking to do. I'm looking to do better in trading, looking to be better as a teacher. But this is an updated chart. If you actually click the link below, we're going to have a video of the previous video where I was explaining this. I made roughly 12 grand in the morning inside of an hour or two on this trade. This was the big spike all the way up to 485. Actually nailed the top in chat. Not only am I giving alerts, but I'm also saying look, I think this looks toppy here. And I gave an alert saying it looks toppy. Wait for the morning panic. What did we get? We got the morning panic. So when you are going for profits on a morning spike like this, you have to sell into strength. Very important. I sold way too soon and actually spiked like another $1 a share from, more than $1 a share from my sell price, actually like $1.50 a share. So I underestimated it. Could have made like 30 grand, but again, whether I make 12 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, it's all freaking amazing in one morning. And I'm trading with a relatively small account. I'm not like investing, like 100 grand. But I did call this morning spike. I got in the 270s right here, and I got out in the 3s. We'll post my trades too, just so you can see them, because it's not just about showing off like my total dollar profit. You need to see every little nuance. That's why I'm real in this industry full of fakes. But I wanted to give you this chart because we added a line here. This is the VWAP, and this is stocks to trade. So I toggle back and forth between eTrade Pro and stocks to trade. I prefer stocks to trade, but sometimes when I'm not in a very fast Wi-Fi area, I use eTrade Pro. Stocks to trade is working on that. But this is the beautiful thing with stocks to trade, where you add an indicator to the VWAP, and you can clearly see, VWAP is the volume weighted average price. So you look at the volume and you look at the price, and it creates this secondary line. And a lot of traders like to use this, especially when trying to understand, is the stock overextended? Like right here, it's at 485, and the VWAP is here, like 225. So it's roughly double, actually more than double what the VWAP is. Look how it comes down. It comes down, but it holds the VWAP here. So if you're looking to buy a stock, you don't want it to be double the VWAP. I don't always use the VWAP, but in a situation like this, I think it's very useful. You can start to see when it's overextended, and you can see some support zones. So a lot of people ask me, how did you know it was going to drop from 485 down to the 2s? I didn't know how far it was going to go down, but I knew that the VWAP was down here. And it was actually impressive that it held the VWAP here around 280, bounced back to the 330s, came down, came up to 310, and watch this next chart. All right, here is another chart a little later in the day. I like taking multiple time frames, looking at it. You can see here the morning spike, now has been condensed, and here's the rest of the day. But again, here is this VWAP, and notice it bounced quite nicely off the VWAP here in the high 2s, and it actually got all the way to 375. So the bounce here was from 275 to 375, and this is before 11:30 in the morning, okay? So I want you to understand this is very similar to my 7-step framework. I actually posted about this, on Twitter, and a few people saw it. And that's what I want for you too. Leave a comment too, not just about if you like this new studio, but do you understand that this is straight out of my 7-step framework? This is the big run up, the 2-3 pattern. This is the 4 crash. And then you can see here it bounced $1 a share. This is a number 5. Now, again, it's not always perfect. We're still waiting to see, whether or not they actually do have a deal with Tesla. Again, if you held a gun to my head, I would guess no, but I follow the price action. And in this video, I want you to understand that the VWAP is very useful. Also understand it's not an exact science. Sometimes the stock will crack through the VWAP and then bounce back. So if it does come back, and it cracks the VWAP, people are like, oh, what's going on? Like, you're a scam. No, this is not an exact science. Nothing works 100% of the time. You're looking for guides, you're looking for indicators and patterns to increase your odds of success. In this case, this stock held the VWAP perfectly, literally perfectly, several times. And the bounce was 30% inside of, this was like at 10:15, and this was by 11:30. So in roughly 75 minutes, it bounced roughly 30%. This is what I love. Whether you capitalize on the morning spike, I don't think anyone found shares to short, so you couldn't really short this one. But again, when this was happening, my top students were traveling. We'll post videos of what we did together, but sometimes that happens when you're traveling. It would have been interesting to see what my, several of my top students like Matt Monaco, Jack Kellogg, Kyle Williams, who like shorting. I don't know if they would have found shares to short. But for me, I like the morning spikes, and then I like the dip buy. So you have to find what pattern works best for you. What's your favorite? What, I guess works best for your personality and your own strengths and weaknesses. But if you add the VWAP, you click this button and you basically add an indicator on stocks to trade and you click the VWAP. I know Tim Bowen uses this religiously. Tim Grattani uses this religiously. I'm the only Tim who doesn't use this religiously. But in this case, I used it. And in this case, it worked. So test and tinker. See, whether the VWAP works for you. But if you're ever scared about a stock spiking too much and you're like, when is it overextended? When it got up to 485 and the VWAP is here at 275, that's overextended. You don't want to buy a stock that's nearly double the VWAP because it usually comes back down. Not always this quickly. This is actually pretty amazing, just the fact that it spiked so quick and panicked so quick and then bounced quite nicely. And some of the 12K that I made, it wasn't all on the morning spike, right? Like I bought a few times on this dip and I actually sold very well here in the 370s on my last trade. And that's mainly just because it started looking a little tired. So you have to think about these things like the big spike, the big crash, and then $1 a share bounce. And then, once it spikes $1 a share, you can see here, it comes all the way back down actually to the 290s and then bounces again. This doesn't look like much on the chart right here, right? This is just like 2 fingers. But this is roughly 310 and this is 340. This is a 10% bounce. So you can start trading different time periods once you start to understand the pattern as a whole. And that's why I love the studio. That's why I love charts. But you also have to keep things just in perspective with the VWAP and as you get closer to midday. Like I love morning panics and morning spikes near the market open because that's when you have the most volatility. Here, we're getting to noon and you can see the volatility dries up. This often happens with stocks around noon, even around 11 a.m. This was pretty volatile here around 11 a.m. But, 11:30, 12 p.m., 12:30 p.m., that's not really a time to trade that much. You'll have lots of fake outs. You'll have a lack of volatility. You can see the volume has really dipped compared to the volume in the morning. So you have to think about all these things. So many people, especially newbies, they're just like, oh, Tesla play, like rumor play, like good news. Why is it going down? I'm looking at the VWAP. I'm looking at the volume. I'm looking at the time of the day. I'm looking at the 7-step framework. I'm using all of this stuff to better my odds on every trade, whether I'm going for the morning spike or the morning dip buy. That's what makes me a successful trader. And that's what will make you a successful trader if you really study up. So watch that actually video. We're going to link the first video on the stock without the VWAP that just goes over why the morning spike happened. I think it's very useful to really deconstruct different times of the day and different chart patterns. If you like morning spikes, this was a fantastic one. If you like morning dip buys into panics, this was $1 a share bounce, even though obviously, it was very choppy over the course of 75 minutes. The morning spike was not choppy. It was just straight up. So it depends on what you like. And, it depends on what you can capitalize on. Like, it doesn't matter necessarily what you like. The market isn't like Burger King. It's not like, oh, what would you like on your chart today? Would you like some lettuce and tomatoes, some pickles, some onions? Like, it doesn't care what you want. You have to take what the market gives you. But this was a perfect morning spike, a perfect, not necessarily perfect, a near perfect morning dip buy. And now it's kind of just, going nowhere. And again, it's just a rumor play. We don't know if they have a deal with Tesla or not, but it doesn't matter. That's the beautiful thing here. If you trade price action, if you trade chart patterns, you don't have to really understand the fundamentals or guess about news. If they get a deal with Tesla, fantastic. There'll be more volatility. If they don't, there probably won't be that much volatility. There'll probably be no trade. But that's what this is. So leave a comment. Do you like this new studio? And do you like the VWAP? And do you like morning spikes? I'm curious what you like. Just tell me. Type it out. Say it out loud. You should start to get to know what you like too. And then you focus more on that. Learn what to do. Learn what not to do. That will help you evolve as a trader and make you money and make you, just successful. Cheers.